Hey playa, do you remember what your first kiss was like? Because I do. Today I want to tell you guys the stories about my first kiss in elementary, middle school, and high school. What happened in each of these scenarios is vastly different from the other, so today I'm going to share my stories with you.
This is the Josh Speaks. You're watching the Josh Speaks.
Now I know there are a lot of you out there who haven't had your first kiss yet, and most of the time we think a first kiss is this romantic, amazing experience, but for most people it's generally not. So I'd like to take you back all the way to the 3rd grade. This is when I had my very first kiss. Now to many people, a kiss is defined very differently. Some people consider it a peck, while other people consider it full-on making out. For me though, as a 3rd grader who was just starting to like girls, anything would do. I remember standing around in the schoolyard during lunchtime one day with a group of kids from my class. At the time, we were playing Truth or Dare, but really no one was asking anyone any kind of truths. We were just daring each other to do things. And most of these dares ended up being kisses. And generally, people wouldn't even say Truth or Dare. They just said, okay, you go kiss that person. So I'm standing in a circle with a mix of guys and girls thinking, which one of these girls am I going to get to kiss? When all of a sudden, someone called my name and one of the other girls' names too. Both of us then headed over to the center and prepared to kiss. Now, being in the 3rd grade, I had no clue how to actually do this. So we kind of just slowly brought our faces together and then tapped. That was the moment I became a man. No, but seriously, all we did was tap kiss. We kept our eyes open and we just made our faces touch. The feeling of someone else's lips tapping against mine was new to me and very, very exciting. This was a moment that would stick with me forever. And as a side note for you guys, I ended up running into that girl years and years later, and when I brought it up to her, she had completely forgot about it. But how do you forget kissing a stud like this, am I right? And that is what I considered my first kiss at the time. Moving on to middle school now. By this age, everyone was a lot more daring and pushing themselves to do things just so that they can gain the experience of it. At the time, my parents had me in a specialized training course that would meet during the summers and on the weekends, which completely sucked. Except for this one little fact. There was one girl that was in the same grade bracket as me that I thought was incredibly cute, and I just wanted to talk to her, but I couldn't work up the courage to do it. Then one day I'm riding the bus home, which she conveniently rode too, and everyone decided to play Truth or Dare again. I'm telling you, a lot of my experiences were defined by this game of Truth or Dare that wasn't even played like Truth or Dare. And this time around, people were daring each other to make out with one another for a certain amount of seconds. And this time around, I sat there waiting and waiting, hoping they would pick her. Sure enough, I got incredibly lucky because they did. So I walked on over to her, I sat down next to her, and we began violently making out, pretending like we knew what we were doing. When I say neither one of us knew what we were doing, I mean that. We were literally just rubbing our tongues against each other, thinking, this is how you make out. As uneducated as I was on how to kiss properly, I do not regret that experience though. I remember people asking me to make out with a bunch of other girls on the bus that day too, but that was the very first experience I had in middle school, and that was the one I will never forget. Oddly enough, that experience didn't happen in my actual junior high school though. Come to think of it, I can't even remember kissing any girl from my normal junior high school. And then we move on to high school, where I literally had my very first high school kiss within my first week of being there. Now you might be thinking, whoa Josh, that's smooth, how'd you pull that off? But let me tell you the story. As you guys know, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and when I first started high school, I was part of a role-play wrestling fed online. Basically what we would do is write out long role plays trash talking each other, and whoever wrote the best one ended up winning the match. And as I mentioned before, my high school system was a little bit weird in the sense that we didn't have a traditional lunch period, but instead had different bands throughout the day, and you got those bands off for your lunch. So in my very first quarter of high school, I had E-band, which was pretty much in the middle of the day, off for lunch. So instead of sitting down and eating, I would eat and write out role plays. I would write pages and pages every single day in my notebook just so I can go home and type it up that night. Yes, this didn't really introduce me to a lot of new people because I would just sit there by myself writing until one day a girl came up to me. She comes over and asks me what I'm doing. So I had to sit and explain to her everything I just explained to you guys right now. She told me she also had E-band off, and the two of us started talking. And every single day we would meet up there and hang out instead. We started to develop a really good friendship, and I thought it was cool that here was this girl who came and approached me just to talk, and it was that easy. She just said hi, asked me what I was up to, and we became friends over something as simple as, hey cool, we both have this free time together. And as as we hung out day after day, we got closer and closer to the point where we would meet up outside of school and hang out as well. The thing is though, I always viewed her as a friend, and little did I know that she was starting to develop some kind of feelings for me. Me and her also shared a lot of the same classes together, so at the end of that week, me and her were both at the point where we were going to say bye to each other and then go home. So I'm sitting there and talking to her for a little bit after class when she just decided to lean forward and kiss me. I was incredibly thrown off. I didn't expect it. I didn't know that she felt that way about me, and in that moment, I didn't really know what to do. She just kind of looked at me and I kind of looked at her, and then I just said, "Oh, okay, well, I'll see you later." After that long weekend had passed, I ran into her again on Monday, and we both talked about what happened. I told her that I only saw her as a friend. She told me that she thought that I was interested in her, which is what led to the whole kiss scenario. Sure enough, we both understood where the other person was coming from, and to this day, we are still very, very close friends. So, if you're someone that's waiting for your first kiss moment, or you've had your first kiss moment, share your story in the comment section below, and we'll talk about it. Kissing is something that we as a society put a lot of emphasis on. And while kissing is important in helping you connect better with another person, there are still plenty of other ways to connect without having to do that. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. I put out a new video every Tuesday and Friday sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. There are still a lot of stories I want to share with you guys, so if you want to help support the channel and give me a bigger platform to tell those stories, hit the thumbs up button and share this video if you can. And let me know if you can relate to any of these experiences, because they were pretty weird, and I'd like to know if someone out there has also gone through weird experiences like that too. As always guys, love and peace.